What happens is that when you are embarking on your music journey, you enter this huge circle,
Yeah.
and this circle has inner circles, and these inner circles have gateways to eventually get to the center of the entire huge circle. So as a
Yeah.
beginner, what happens? You enter to the huge circle first, and then they tell you, for example, okay, so you start walking on the big circle, and they tell you, okay, you got to do some exercises here, do hammer-ons here, a song there, a little bit of the scales here,
Yeah.
some improvisation, and eventually what happens is everything that you do leads to the next circle, and then on
Yeah.
that circle you review some of the stuff of the outer circle, but you are working on new things, and everything that you do, whether it's a bend, the hammer-ons, everything eventually time takes care of itself as long as you persevere and as long as you are consistent as much as you can. Eventually you start leveling up to the circles, and you start going in to a different circle, and eventually when you become to the center, when you get to the center of the circle, you
Yeah.
are a very, very, very well-rounded musician, which
Yeah.
means that you can pretty much do anything,
Yeah.
and that is where you have really accomplished the goal of becoming a phenomenal musician.
Yeah.
So everything that you do, Matthew, leads you there. Everything that you do guitar, for example, like if we're doing Hysteria, but then suddenly Fernando sends you some hammer-ons, then a lot of people say, okay, why did he send me my hammer-ons when we're doing Hysteria? It's because you need to keep eating other things in order with time to move
Yeah.
to the next circle.
Yeah. Right.
If you just do
Right.
Hysteria, what's going to happen is, yeah, you moved along the circle, but you're not going to move as much because there's some
Right.
things that you're going to be missing out. And the
Right.
circle's going to say, no, you did not level up. You still need to do hammer-ons. You still need to do the bends. You still need to do like the slides 101. And then, yeah, I'll give you access to the next circle. And that is time. Time takes care of that as long as you persevere and as long as you actually keep it consistent, endure
Yeah.
through it.
Right.
So every single day it's a challenge. You're gonna have days where it has been really easy to practice and you feel great, and there's gonna be days where you feel very bad or you're feeling sick and you're not, you know what, I really don't want to practice. And that's normal. That's normal. That's part of the entire journey. You're gonna go through a roller coaster of emotions. And the main thing that I tell people is try to rule out your emotions. Don't let your emotions get in the way, because a lot of people, what they've done, and I'm saying you're doing this, I'm talking in general. People have, for example, a bad day, and then they let the emotion rule out, and then they don't do anything. They don't practice. They don't, they don't want to. They don't want to like practice their stuff, and then
Yeah.
eventually, what happens? Everything starts to add up. Time
Yeah.
starts to add up, and you're not practicing, and then you're really doing a harm to yourself when it comes to your music.
Right.
So those are the kind of like the things, and I like to talk about this because the psychology of this is a huge part of the battle. I believe as a musician that if you actually like you know um, feed yourself good psychology, the stuff that I'm talking about, you already made it, because that's gonna help you do a lot of very productive and successful things.
Okay.
So as long as you keep that productivity, I mean that good mental state, every single week, every single day, as much as you can. There are gonna be days where you're gonna be going down. We're humans, and we're not, and it's impossible to keep a good state of a good mind state every single day. But as long as you keep it overall higher than the negative,
Yeah.
you already won the battle, because that's gonna lead you into like practicing more. That's gonna lead you into like getting more into it, and eventually having more passion, and eventually being happier.
Yeah. Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the thing. But I understand there are times when people get sick. I got sick with COVID. I didn't even touch the guitar. I remember when I got sick,
Yeah.
because yeah, everything hurts. You
Yeah.
feel tired. You
Yeah.
feel no energy, and you're like, I don't really feel like sitting down, grabbing a piece of wood, and playing
Yeah.
some steel strings.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Right.
but always remember the circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's kind of hard because it's really easy to get overwhelmed, because in the circle, it says, okay, you need to do this,
Yeah.
and of course, nobody said that you have to do the circle super fast. You can
Right.
always take your time, but it's important to advance little by little on the circle to be done, to move to the next circle, and then do that.
Right. Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I sent you some hammer-ons, I believe the last two videos.
Yeah.
And these hammer-ons are super important. And the reason why is because they are the beginning of how to start dominating the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale is a very famous and extremely used and popular scale of all times. I mean it, of all times.
Yeah.
If you listen to Japanese music, you're gonna hear the pentatonic scale. You hear the Greek music, you're gonna hear the pentatonic scale. The pentatonic scale is everywhere, all over the world, in every single century, pretty much.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I've ever heard world music that doesn't have the pentatonic scale patterns in there.
Hmm.
You know, it's like it's that amazing.
Yeah.
So 5 notes out of 7. And of course, the last video I sent you to start doing hammer-ons on the actual mode, on the actual Aeolian scale, and that's important too, because what happens is, you know, there's this saying that, you know, you're stuck in a pentatonic rut, and when you just do pentatonic, you're actually gonna get stuck.
Yeah.
So it's really important to understand also how to start utilizing the actual minor scale. So. I would recommend practicing the hammer-ons with the pentatonic from the video of the pentatonic and the hammer-on from pretty much the video of last week. So in the video of last week, what you can do is you can simply go to the scale. You can start anywhere in the scale, and then whenever you have, for example, like 2 notes right next to each other, do with the hammer of those 2. Mm-hmm. If you have, for example, like another note next to this one here, then you do the hammer of those 2. Next string, same thing. Pentatonic. This is on the minor scale, on the regular minor scale. So for example, if I grab my guitar here, just really quick, and I am going to be, I'm going to do my camera to go a little bit down here, like this. All right. So if I actually do this where, you know, I have a 5, 7, and an 8 on the top, like I said in the video, you go 5, 7. And then you're gonna go 7, 8. Mm-hmm. Right? Because it goes next string down, same thing. 5, 7. 7, 8. Then next string is only 5, 7. Next string is gonna be 4, 5, 7. So I'm gonna go 4, 5 first. 5, 7. Next string down is gonna be 5, 6, 8. So I'm gonna go 5, 6. And then the next string then after that's gonna be 6, 8. Then I'm gonna go to 5, 7 on the bottom string. And 7, 8. Okay. When you start doing those patterns in an actual like jam session, they're actually gonna start sounding pretty good. Yeah. You know, you think, okay, but so simple. Yes, simple. Yeah. But those patterns sound really cool when you do them in you know, when you start utilize them in an actual jam track. Right. You know, okay. So and of course you can apply that to any scale that you learn in the future as well. Keep that in mind. Okay. And the pentatonic, when we're doing this, you know, it's just a matter of 2 notes the whole time, and people love the pentatonic because you're just going 2 notes the entire time. 2 notes, 2 notes. You know what? I'm going to make sure I am focused well here. Let me see here. And then I'm going to get this. All right, cool. So now here, I'm doing the A string and the D string. Then I'm going to go D, D, and G. Now I'm going to go D and G. My bad, G and B. But when I do the B string, I'm going to do the pinky. Now I'm going to go ring and pinky because the pentatonic scale does like 5, 7, 5, 8. So I'm going to go here, 5, 7, 5, 8. And then when I do the bottom 2 strings, I'm going to go 5, 8, 5, 8. See that? So I'm here, I got to start on the top, 5, 8, 5, 7. to practice that, then 5757, 5757, 5758. This was hard, and the reason why is because you gotta use the pinky instead of the ring. So your brain thinks that you gotta use ring the whole time, but now you're gonna be doing index ring, pinky. And then 5/8, both. And eventually what you want to do too is eventually you want to go slowly and just simply go down the whole thing. Like this, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on. And then you go up to just doing hammer-ons. Hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on.
Okay.
So that's one. Then I believe we were talking about pull-ups, right? Did I send you pull-ups yet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Pull-ups are tough. They sound really good. Again, the same way as you do the hammer-ons. So, for example, if you're doing something like you're here on the 7th fret to the 5th, you just simply do the pull-up like this. Pick, pull-up, hammer on, 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 pull-up. And that's what you're doing. And you practice that a lot because that's going to burn you. And that's going to allow you to get a better sound. Keep in mind, as I'm doing the pull-up, the bottom of the index finger is muting the strings. I'm not pressing, I'm just simply touching them. I am also, with the tip of my index finger, I'm muting the A string here. And chicken muscle, of course, is taking care of the strings that my left hand cannot access. So I'm doing this, pull off, then here is going to be 8/5, and then 8/5. We saw on the bottom, you're going to pick, pull up, and then this pinky is going to go to the 8th fret as a hammer on. There's no need to pick anymore. Hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up. So whenever you're doing like the pull-ups up, there's no need to pick this note, the pinky, the pink or the ring finger note, because it's just a hammer on that takes care of the sound.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick. The first note is picked. Of course, you gotta get some type of momentum on the sound. So pick, pull up, hammer on, 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 pull up.
Okay.
Okay. So now, when I'm going down, I'm just simply gonna go pick, pull up, and then here. Then I'm gonna go here. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna do just a hammer on. So I'm gonna pick, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up, hammer on, pull up. This is the same exact thing. Okay, so I'm doing pull up. Pick this one. Pull up, hammer on, 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 pull up. So every time you're doing a bunch of pull-ups, the first note is picked, but then after that, the hammer on is going to take care of the first sound of the actual string.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you're doing like when you're doing the pull off, like are you like kind of like pulling the string a little bit?
Yes, you're plucking the string. So you definitely want to pluck the string.
And if you're going
down,
up, are you kind of
like that,
pushing it?
You're plucking the string with the. Let's say I'm doing like a ring finger here. So the ring finger is not just gonna pull up like this. I'm actually gonna be plucking the string down, like just simply like if you're plucking any string. But
yeah,
the index finger is gonna be in charge of not allowing the string to go down, because of course the ring finger is gonna apply pressure down, doing this, but then the index finger has to help the string not to go down. Okay. So when you're doing this, see that? My index finger is allowing the string to stay steady. Yeah. But a lot of people, what they do is that whenever they're doing the pull off, they're doing this. You know, they're pushing the string down. This one is not doing its job, and then you're getting an out of tune sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the index finger really has to make sure pressing a little bit upwards in a way, because this one's going down like this. So the index has to do the other way, going up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yep. And that is something that is important to get used to. So in the beginning, when I told you, you know, actually some minutes ago, when I told you to go to pentatonic and just simply do this.
Right. Like with your index, are you pretty much pressing down on all the strings?
No.
Huh?
Like I said, I'm not pressing down on all the strings. I'm just muting these guys. I'm only pressing on the note that I'm supposed to be pressing. The tip is muting the top string, and this is taking care of all the muting in the bottom. If I press, especially if you're in distortion, you're definitely gonna get some wacky sounds. It's like other types of like sounds, and you don't want that.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what I want you to focus on by next week. And then the hammer-ons, the pull-offs on the regular mode is the same concept. So for example, you saw on the top, and of course you got 8, 7, 5, the first 3 strings. So you're gonna do 8, 7. And you're gonna do pull-off, hammer-on, just hammer-on, pull-off like this out of the pink and the ring. This is hard. You're really gonna burn like crazy, but it is a phenomenal exercise to really get this part of your hand strong. Okay, so if you burn, that's normal. It will be abnormal actually if you do not feel the burn. That burn is gonna make you stronger, and that strength is gonna allow you to play faster on the guitar. And then same thing here. I'm gonna pick. So I started this. I just play this note here on the 7, pull off to the 5, hammer on to the 7, pull to the 5, hammer on to the 7, pull to the 5. And that's it. Next string, same thing. Then I go down here. And then here it will be 7, 5, 5, 4. Then here will be 6, 8. 6, 7, 8, 7. I cannot say my numbers today. It will be 8, 6. That's funny. And then it will be 6, 5. And then I'm going to go here to the 8, 7. And then I'm going to go to the 7, 5. So by doing just simple things like that in an improv, you'll be surprised at how good it can sound.
Yeah.
You know, just you doing some little bit of hammer-ons in there. And that's what a lot of like people who start improvising, once they get the hang of the hammer-on pull-offs, they start doing that and they realize, okay, it really doesn't take rocket science to start sounding decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So of course, let me know if you have always any questions. I'm here for you. Anytime you need a question on WhatsApp, you can always let me know. And you look like you need some rest.
Yeah. Well, I will say it was interesting. You talk about the things coming together, and I did notice like when I was working on Hysteria a couple of nights ago, when I had a little energy and I was doing the verse part, where you first start, I guess, the D or whatever, and I was practicing like when you go down, up down up down up down, and then I came up like I just did all ups, and so it was just interesting, like I didn't even really think about it, like I'm like, oh yeah, like that I see that fitting in, that seems a whole lot easier than going up and down, all the way up,
Exactly. So little things start to become like more second nature.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's what I mean. Eventually, you level up. You go to the next circle, and then you start doing this. And of course, a circle can take months, and it can take actually a couple of weeks. It can take a week. It can take months, and many times it can take years.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at years.
But since I've known you, the progress that you've made, you've actually leveled up some circles already. It's like it's not like you're staying. You're on the same circle that you were when you first started. Yeah. So definitely you're progressing. Okay. With all the full life that you have, I think you're doing great. Okay. It's just a matter of being patient and just understanding that it's a full process. It takes time, but count your little victories as you move along, as exactly what you did right now. And like I said, the psychology. That is key. That is key.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, man.
All right, my friend. I'll see you next week, and get a lot of rest. You're gonna fight out like that.
All right. Take care.
All right. All right, buddy. You take care. It was
Bye-bye.
nice seeing you. Bye.
Yeah.